just like a known collector in the space and just all around great being. So yeah, everyone just hold on tight while we wait for him to hop in the Discord, and I'll send him a message just to make sure that they're on their way.
In the meantime, do we want to listen to that Token Smart theme song once more, Dragonate? And then whenever Kai gets here, we can cut it and listen to his words of wisdom.
Yeah, let's keep that party going. Oh, there he is.
Hear me? Yeah, sorry about that. I wasn't. I thought I was verified. I've been there for a while. I thought I must have done one of the earlier verified systems, and you guys changed it up.
Super OG. Yeah, welcome, Kai. Feel free to take it away and let everyone know what's going on in your world.
Oh, sure. So there's a lot going on. I mean, just some, I guess, quick background on who I am and what I've done in the space. I've been in the NFT space from the CryptoKitties days. So some folks know when I sort of jumped into that and got excited about looking at the DNA code and figuring out how the breeding worked, and there's some articles about it, and that's sort of what gave me the NFT bug. Was that and it's always been a side thing. So it's always I was at Sony at the time. I'm at Netflix now, and just spending all my mornings and sort of after hours and weekends doing this stuff. And I guess more recently, I've been involved in advising various projects and various companies and artists, and I got involved, and I've been a generative artist myself. So, I mean, one of the things I might jump into and present is, if I can, figure this sharing screen out without sharing everything, is I might show just a little bit about sort of what I've been doing art-wise. I'll share a tab. So I assume, I don't know if I have any way of knowing if people can see it or not. Assume everyone can see this.
Have you hit share? I don't see it popping up.
Can I see it? Let me see.
Yeah, in the lower left, there should be a screen icon to share your screen.
Give me the window. Yeah, share. Not sharing? Need permissions or something? It gets me as far as sharing it, and then it says stop.
If you'd like, I can pull up the link. Feel free to send it over.
Yeah. I'll drop the link in. Let's see. Where should I drop the link? The lounge?
Either WIP channel, or you can just DM me it, and I'll pull it up.
Put it in the WIP channel. Cool. Yeah, so that's you. That screen.
All right, so I have the studio.
So you got it
there.
Cool, perfect. So yeah, so this is just something I put together as an overview of the various art projects. So I've always been painting, drawing. I'm a designer, experienced designer as a profession. But it wasn't until I mean, I'd always done some generative art just as a hobby and as something that I like to do myself. And when I was a lot of it took shape when I worked in game design. I was getting into HTML-based games and game jams and that sort of thing. So I had all these sort of tools for that I've made for myself to generate different types of sprites and game assets and all sorts of things. And I was playing around with that to do patterns and generative patterns. And one of the ideas I had was really going back to my youth when I was like on an Apple II computer, and the graphics were really simple and you had just a few colors to play with. But I was always fascinated by this idea of make these patterns and get different colors by mixing up the patterns of the few colors that you have. So I revisited that, and been working with these patterns that are the only the kind of 6 colors basically that you have available for the RGB combinations. And, yeah, this came up with this idea for that pattern kind of a long time ago, and then I brought it into a generative art piece when I started working with art blocks. And, yeah, here you can see some of that. So I came up with a piece called 27-bit digital that I thought was really really cool, because a lot of what people look for in this space in generative art and NFTs in general is around rarities. But I like the idea that this is kind of everything's uniform. So like the probabilities of getting different patterns and the different 7-segment piece that you see is like a LED display, or like the 8 you see in the corner. It's all evenly random, but the chances of getting what we kind of pattern match and see, one's a number, one's a letter, one's that sort of smiley face in the corner, all just happens out of by chance. So I like the fact that these different types of artifacts can come out of this random probability. So that was sort of the idea there, that it didn't you didn't have to create or invent these special rare pieces; they just naturally emerged. That's 27-bit digital, and a lot of what I do is physical to digital. So before, like going way back, I was working on a project that had to do with NFC chips, so chips in cards and printed electronics, and you could tap on something. So I've always been interested in like physical to digital space, and so that was like the pixel glass piece where you could redeem pixel glass and get a physical piece. Some of the other stuff that we're seeing, like this is something that was a collective card that went out with the collective project. Again, kind of a lot of what I'm trying to do is referencing the classic video games and graphic limitations that I remember from when I was a kid. So if you ever played, there's a game called Load Runner, had sprites kind of like that I referenced, and just brought in other types of artwork and different types of patterns. There I've got, so then after that, this was Byte Beats, so that's not going to work. But Byte Beats, you should check it out. Was a collaboration. So I got into collaborations after that, and I collaborated with a kind of genius AI music guy called CJ Carr for DataBots. Is his collaborative kind of collective that he works with. And we worked on Byte Beats, which is this generative music project. You can still get some on Artblocks, which generates these strings that can then play back this kind of chip tune style music, and then we came up with different waveforms and different kind of visual ways of expressing the different types that we created. So that was a fun project to work on. And then the following ones are other collaborations I've done. So I've collaborated with Martin from Savage Dogs, and we did some in my style, and then I did a zoomed in version that's what I call excess bits, and I have a zoomed in version that we both input both for auction. This is one with Alt James is the next one, so that's he had a project, and then Crypto Geishas, and finally collaboration that just recently, well, we finished the first half, which was with IX Shells. So she's another great narrative artist. A lot of people know her from did a piece that went for auction for charity and did really well. Asking a question. Yeah, so that's kind of the art side of things, and that's where I'm up to. And then all of this got not derailed, but I haven't had as much time to think about my generative art, because they was just took a week off work and was thinking about DAOs, and then Meebits launched. So had this idea to really get going with a Meebits DAO, and the idea there was that we saw that there was this great Lava Labs launched this and sort of set the mission to out an NFT that's gonna be a part of the metaverse. And a lot of people are talking about metaverse, but this approach was really interesting to me because it was, rather than saying we're gonna go out and build a world or build a virtual space, it's kind of starting with the collectible. And so we have this idea that what if you kind of build an open framework, or you just have the community figure out how to join up the dots between, we want to do something in Somnium space, and we want to do something in the sandbox, and all these other virtual worlds. What if isn't the metaverse like really the framework that connects everything up, and it allows you to take your bits from one world to exist in another. So that's kind of the motivation behind it, is if we could build this ecosystem around bits, but really try to build some of the infrastructure for, if there's going to be a metaverse, it feels like the plumbing of it and the exciting part about it should be open, so that everyone can just kind of use these open standards and build, connect so you can transport virtual items from one place to another without it being kind of locked into a proprietary framework. And that seems like very much the spirit of NFTs and the blockchain as well. So that's the vision for it. We're obviously doing a lot of fun community things here too. We're doing videos and kind of showing people what they can do with their Meebits, and we have it so that people can upload their Meebits and get different types of there you can see one dancing around, so you can get your Meebits models and put them into motion. And we're working with folks like Karim is a great animator, and Jonathan Mann, Song a Day Man, is this is one of the music videos that they put together. So I think a lot of people are just getting inspired by Meebits as really one of the first. I mean, obviously there's a lot of the ties to Larva Labs and CryptoPunks, but the fact that we're seeing a lot of NFTs, but this is one that is really trying to put itself forward as a collectible that exists in this future that's about the metaverse. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I mean, what we're working to now with that is an airdrop and a competition. So someone we have a sponsor with Divergence VC, and yeah, this is you'll see the idea that we had with them, which was to take their dissected. So they paid like 700 ETH for a dissected, which they then fractionalized, and so these exist as million ERC20 tokens. So we're going to have a giveaway. We're going to give away some of those tokens based on tickets that people will get in the airdrop for owning Meebits. People will get in our Discord for engaging in our Discord, and we'll have a social media promotion. So there's 3 different types of tickets: red, blue, and gold. But that's kind of what our next big thing is there. But yeah, I mean, we're generally excited about where it could go, and our real priority next is to into the sandbox to really enable people. We have people working in crypto voxels. We just want to be, in AR, wherever we can be, and that's an example of our founder tokens. We're also onboarding founder members of the DAO, and the DAO, I should say, is what we're building. So it's not completely, we're working at building the infrastructure, which is going to allow us to have this voting system of governments that put a lot of time and thought into trying to make it fair, and at the same time have accountability, so we can have a smallish team of people who are voting members, but they're accountable to the general community, who can be our non-voting general members. And we spend a lot of time working with our primary sponsor, BlockBlock, on things like, how do we set this up legally? How do we set up the organization? So all that's going on as well. Yeah, I might. I don't know the format. I might pause there and see. Do I take questions or?
Yeah, that was amazing. So much going on in the metaverse, and it's exciting to see what everyone's building, especially with like the DAO format, kind of like leading the trail on that. Does anyone have any questions in the chat?
All right. So these are our tickets. So who else do we have in the room? We have Ryan there, and then Byron.
And Kai, Rizzle's asking, are there any generative art projects that you're particularly inspired by?
So I just reached out to Jason about this.
I've been. I mean, I think I collected all the early art blocks. So I don't know. I mean, I think my references for kind of inspiration are probably what you can see from the. Oh, the stream ended. Sorry about that. Yeah, my references are more like old school video games. I'm probably more influenced by like the indie game scene, maybe than artists. But I try to follow a lot of artists, generative and non-generative artists in general. Like I said, a back and forth with all the folks I've been collaborating with always sort of pushes me further and gets me to think about doing things in different ways. So yeah, I try to reach out to artists to collaborate, and that's what I draw inspiration from.
Awesome. Yeah, I noticed that you had the one with IX Shell. She was actually on the show a couple of weeks ago. It's great seeing all this generative art kind of like come to the surface. It's more enabled by the technology these days. I myself, my early years of digital art were heavily inspired by PlayStation, Joshua Davis. So, a lot of my roots are kind of in that whole processing movement and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's great to see it. Do we have any other questions in the chat right now? Why a DAO, and this is from Rizzle, why a DAO with Meebits over a lot of these other generative avatar projects? I have my own assumptions, but curious to hear your take.
Well, yeah, I think it was really the convergence of a few things. One with Block, we were talking about being interested in DAOs and wanting to learn more about DAOs and realizing that probably the best way is to set up a DAO to learn about it, which is around the time that Meebits launched. And another thing I was interested in as someone who's worked in game design is that everyone's talking about the metaverse and it's sort of this abstract thing and no one really knows when or how it's going to take shape. I was also curious, like, how do you start creating these building blocks of the metaverse? So I think the reason Meebits made a lot of sense is just because they came along and said, we're building this for the metaverse. So I think more than, I'm sure the Bored Apes are moving into virtualizing their kind of flat 2D image, and I think other people are doing that as well. But at the time, like they were the first to really, of the moment, that really came out with this sense that you could download all these different types of files, and you could get the box file immediately, and then we worked on converting that into other file formats. So it was just really accessible in terms of it's ready to go we sort of some tooling around it. It's ready to go, and you can plug it into all these experiences. So yeah, part of it was opportunistically, but it's also the fact that it did so well and has such a community around it. And I think when the people that have invested in it, even though it's invested in Marvel Labs, I think we felt that means that there's a vested interest in seeing Meebits succeed. Versus people just if there's just a project that was kind of hyped for a minute, then people don't necessarily people might move on to the next thing. So I think people are interested enough for a variety of reasons keeping Meebits going, and that it'll have that support. So we thought it was a good project to center on.
Yeah, that's interesting. In software development too, it's like there's an emphasis in Agile on self-organizing teams, right? And I feel like having seen what the Meebits have done, there's a lot of just initiative coming internally from people who are just genuinely excited about the project, or perhaps they're invested in the project, and it is a unique opportunity with them being like one of the first collections to offer a 3D object that comes with it, that's ready to be rigged and drop into these different worlds.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also down to the community support. Like, we've been kind of from our first tweet months ago, we've got 1,500 followers, and the Discord is doing really well. So I think if there hadn't been that community support and enthusiasm, then we would have said, oh, well, there's not really anything here worth pursuing. But the community has matched our enthusiasm every step of the way. So that's what's kept us going.
Absolutely. We have another question from Robert Monroe. How do you maintain a good IRL job versus NFT job balance? That's a great one.
Yeah, you don't sleep. That's kind of true. But yeah, it's not easy. I think I've found ways to you work longer hours, so I fit it in the morning, I fit it in after, and I sort of check over lunch and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, time management is can be difficult, but I definitely have time in the evening where I switch off and I don't check what's going on. I think that's important too. But part of it is just, it's also like, I generally enjoy it too. So it's like it's a I enjoy what I'm doing at work, but this is something else, and it's a different space. So I like it's fun for me as well.
Yeah, that definitely helps. You seem to have more energy when you're working on projects you love, and for sure, time management's key. We have one from Matthew from Nift Gateway. I've been super inspired by your work as an advisor for multiple projects because of the very tangible value add you provide. Any suggestions for being an impactful advisor on projects and recommendations for projects in terms of certain advisors to look out for and try to bring on board / avoid?
Yeah, I think probably the first project I really got involved in as an advisor was Avastars, and I think it was I mean, I was talking to Jim before that just because we had shared interest in art on chain and everything like that. But I think it was the fact that I was genuinely excited about his vision for Avastars and seeing that grow and develop. So I think it's what we shared was it's looking for people that have that shared enthusiasm about the project, and then that for me that enthusiasm spilled over into at the time I was building out different tools and being very hands-on. So I think it's about I mean, not everyone is going to jump in and like build tools, but I think it's about defining what kind of tangible value are those, or what kind of roles and expectations are the advisors meant to bring. Because just having like a list of advisors isn't that helpful if it's just people that just want to sign up for it. I think if it's there might be people that can they're advisors because of the network they bring, and you see that they're going to extend their network to support your goals. So there are people that could be advisors as from a development perspective, and if you have your developers or developers that don't have this much experience, they can lend that experience and sort of coach and mentor. But yeah, I think it's about being very clear and upfront about what if it's your project, like what advisors are bringing to the table. And I think if you want to be an advisor, it's about sort of offering, being specific about what you want to out with, or just kind of diving into the community and being active in the community. I think will kind of speak for itself.
Awesome. Yeah, it's funny. I think I was watching a short interview with Jim the other day, and he mentioned you too, and just like your crazy in-depth analysis on CryptoKitties genes, and led me down the rabbit hole of kind of like researching that and stuff. And I think, yeah, it's like, the people who are just fully into this space, fully, absorbing knowledge, asking the questions, making the mistakes and learning from them, and want to, provide that value to other teams. And they're definitely going to be successful in an advisorship role. Yeah. Is there anything, there's just about a few more minutes. We have some time for some more questions. If anyone has them, feel free to ask in the WIP channel. And then maybe, I guess, if you have some, final words, maybe on your vision for the metaverse, or, potential things you see going right, going wrong with the collectible space or NFT space. Yeah, what does your visionary hat tell you?
Sure. Well, I can say a little bit because I did a little bit of research recently around the trend in these kind of PFP or avatar NFTs. And I think that's an interesting one and a little bit of a concern for me because I think there are some like right now the space we seem to be spending a lot on projects that don't necessarily have a roadmap or have this delayed reveal or other mechanics that it's like you haven't even seen the artwork fully and they're still walking away with 2 million and that the more that that's propagated the more that people are going to be attracted to it and I don't know if that's necessarily helpful to the space if those projects aren't going to endure or people are just going to take that money and move on or do other things. I think it's important to look at projects that are going to reinvest in the space. And I think, a lot of them are modeled after Bored Apes, and Bored Apes has done a good job at reinvesting in the space and showing that they're committed to building out the ecosystem and building out the community. So I think I'd like to see folks that are kind of getting excited about the collectibles, really holding projects more accountable up front and making sure that they're going to be, I mean, it would be nice if they had a track record. It would be nice if they sort of showed more of their vision and show that they can deliver against their vision before just, aping in, as we say. But I think, a lot of this is, I mean, I'm subject to it myself. I mean, a lot of it is just like people are waiting for the next thing to come along and hear something and, let's have some fun over the weekend. So there's a mix. I mean, I'm not a purist about it, but I do worry that, every time one of these sells out, haven't done a good job. It's like you're kind of encouraging more projects to pop up and do a really kind of shoddy job.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of expected in nascent spaces like this where people are just starting to understand the technology. Things are accelerating quickly. Everyone's looking to make a quick buck. Well, not everyone, but those projects who are doing low effort drops. Not really a sustainable roadmap. Um, can it can attract some bad actors, but I think that's part of the inevitable development cycle that we'll have to go through just to advance the technologies, advance the space, all of that kind of stuff.
I think to end on a positive note, what I will say is like what I'm excited about with the metaverse is that we're seeing these this momentum around people looking to do more with these collectibles that they own and as we get people showing how they can move into virtual spaces and showing how the idea that you can claim something with something else or you can recombine something and have it take on a new life in a virtual space. I think that really excites me, and that's seeing more projects collaborate and build together. Whether it's in you can imagine people doing things in the sandbox and interoperable projects. So that's what excites me about the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's what this community is all about. And so it's great to hear what maybe it's DAO and what you're working on and everything that's helping kind of create the scaffolding for the future of it. Thank you so much. And we're really happy to have you here.
Thanks. I'm gonna drop off, but thanks everyone.
Yep. Thanks, Kai.
Awesome. Cool. Well, this is Matthew. Kai, man, I just want to say it was an absolute pleasure to have you on and listen to your wisdom. I've been a long time admirer and follower of yours. All the wisdom that you drop on Twitter, it's just really inspiring. So thank you so much. And shout out to Chippy Yogi for putting together another rock solid pre-WIP trip. Really look forward to these every week. Before the pre-WIP trip, we had Wild Dark Music playing a set. Shout out to them as well. Really cool format. A lot of this is due to Daniel, who runs Art So Fly Gallery, who so kindly is hosting the WIP this week. He recommended that we book Wild Dark Music, and I was just talking to Dragonate as we were listening to the set that it's just like perfect vibes heading into the pre-WIP trip. Anyway, now we're ready for the WIP proper. shout out everyone who's been packing the Token Smart live stream since the early morning hours on the Pacific Coast. We have a great show for everyone. This is the last WIP before we take a break next week. Don't get too scared. We have a little summer break next week. Also, we want to make way for the Christie's takeover. Can y'all hear me? Cool. Anyway, we have a great show for everyone today. We have Daniel from Art Supply is going to be talking about some of his artists and taking us on a little gallery tour of the Art Supply gallery that we're hosting at and flying above if you're in Cryptovoxels. We have Spherical Art back with us today, who's going to be talking about his new podcast and some new art. And Paradox is going to jump on the mic and talk about an exciting project that he has. Also, George from Crypto Art Week Asia was supposed to show up, but 3 a.m. in Singapore is just a little bit too early for him, so he passed out. But I have some cool updates on the Crypto Art Week Asia that's going to be taking place starting from tomorrow, actually. So I'll drop that at the end of the show. We'll take a nice picture before we go on summer break. But with that, dude, I got to pass the mic to my man, Rizzle, to get the hype train started, get us excited for this last week before our summer break.
You know, at least George didn't pull like a full Russ and gave us a heads up ahead of time. I can take that. I won't talk any more trash on George. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
All right, cool. Yeah, wait, hang on. Before I like launch into stuff, hang on. I'm gonna do the whip drop. I think it's gonna, yes, in the Cypher channel. Wait, no, hang on. Where'd I put it? Oh crap, I did it on my other screen. It's somewhere, hang on. I'm gonna find it. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be in the Cypher channel just below this one. I pre-typed the commands now at this point because I'm like so paranoid that I'm gonna goof it up. So, all right, I did it. So you guys got 30 minutes to claim it. Hop down to the Cypher channel, pop back up. Syncos resurfaced from the Voxel sweatshop that we dumped him in, and we sent him right back immediately. He popped out on Twitter, and Matt basically told him to shut the F up and get back to work. So claim that WIP coin because you are going to be able to redeem it for like awesome stuff. And you know, if Syncos doesn't, if he doesn't come through, we'll figure something else out. We got Syncos on a short leash. It's good to be back. I was, for people who weren't here last week, I wasn't here last week. I think it's the first WIP that I've ever missed in my entire life, and I did not have a baby like Matt when he missed the WIP. I was actually on vacation with my kids. It was good to be away. It's good to be back. My kids are now trying to like run a seashell economy amongst the neighborhood and sell a bunch of shells that they brought back to the kids. So it's good to be back for the WIP, back in time to take a week off, and then we will roll right into season, no shells on the blockchain, just shells in the neighborhood. We'll pin NFTs to them if we got it. Rolling right into season whatever we are in the WIP, and it should be dope. So we'll take next week off. Token Smart's got a big event, I believe, with Christie's that they're in the process of cooking up. New season again already. Sometimes we just like stop things and start a new season when, you know, one of us has some sort of obligation or like things come up or we just need an excuse to take a week off or something like that. So it's totally random. It makes no sense. We have no idea what season we're in. I think we called this one like the season of the cheese or like an animal or something because we don't even know. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's see what else. For those of you who don't know, the MetaJax Jazz Festival is going on this weekend. I think Easy's there or in transit like right now. Cheesy Rizzle season, y'all take that. Easy's there live. There's stuff going on all weekend. I'm hosting a thing on Sunday virtually. I believe, I think a lot of the Token Smart crew is still in the house. Easy's listening while driving. So he's like in the metaverse while driving to a live metaverse event. It's like some meta inception going on. So that's going to be going on like all weekend. So make sure you check out what's going on. Follow all the people. Check out MetaJax on Twitter. Let's see. After the speaker panel today, we're going to be doing another group shot. So make sure you stick around, hop into Crypto Voxels, at least towards the end. If your like computer is going to blow up, if you stay in the whole time, but make sure you pop in for the group shot. Yeah, see Meta Jack's in the house. What's up, Tim? And let's see. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm a free Rizzle these days. I parted ways in a positive way with Token Smart and NFT 42. We're still all love each other and our BFFs, but in the meantime, I get to go do fun passion projects, and I'm already like cooking up a lot of like really fun, awesome things with some of my favorite people in the space. So if y'all need a Rizzle for something, like feel free to hit me up. That being said, I think we're ready to kick things off. As always, big shout out to the WIP crew, the Token Smart crew, the bot squad, the fam, Easy, Paradox, Trippy, Show, Timmy, Tubador, Alex, Guts Berserk, GB, Griff, Conwolf, Carolina Duh, the Meow Meow, obviously, Drago, Nate, Trizlet, Quigbell, and I noticed that we have a alt identifier bot who has joined the crew. So we don't always shout out the bots, but we'll give the bot at least like one shout out here. So yeah, it's a big team. It takes a big fam to make this happen. So let's see. That being said, who we got first up here? I believe it's Daniel for Art So Fly. Dude, thanks for hosting us today. Feel free to grab the virtual mic from me, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Everybody can hear me? Can you guys hear?
Yep.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
beautiful.
Audio.
Great. First, I want to just thank everybody for coming today. I want to thank Matthew, Rizzle, the rest of the crew for allowing us to host the WIP today. Very excited to show off the new space. I'll just give you a little brief introduction of myself. Obviously, my name is Daniel. This is my gallery. I got into NFTs a couple of months ago and then hooked up with a great artist named Tomas Canto. There's a friend of my sister's, and she said, you're doing these NFT stuff. Let me hook you up with Tomas. Maybe he wants to bring some art into this world. And that's basically where we are right now. We actually had Token Smart throw our first event a couple of months ago, which was amazing, in the same space, but it was much smaller. And since then, things have been going really well. Wild Ark actually played the live set during our kickoff party. They're close friends of mine that I grew up with. And from there, they obviously were inspired by this space. So I decided that, let's expand the gallery, give Tomas some more space to display some of his beautiful art, and let's get Wild Ark into this space. And that's pretty much where we're at. We built, or I shouldn't say we, Ogre built this beautiful gallery. First 2 floors are Tomas's work. Third floor, as I'm about to give you a tour in a second, is the Wild Ark studio. We got a little party space over there. And I just want to apologize in advance. Crypto Voxels is having some lag issues, so we had to turn off collision. We did reinforce the floors. So if you guys want to kick off the tour very easily, you can stop flying, drop right through the ceiling, and we should all pretty much drop right into the 3rd floor studio. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that. I'll give everybody a second to land. And basically with that, I'll give the mic over to Corey and Ryan from Wild Ark just for a moment so they could just give you an idea of what they're looking to do and what we're looking to do for them.
Can you hear me? Everyone hear me? Hey guys, how are you? This is Corey and my brother Ryan right here. We're Wild Ark. As Danny mentioned, we've known each other for a long time. So when we started discussing the studio he was building and some of his ideas, we thought it would be a really good opportunity for us to come in and add what we do to the mix, which is specialize in music production. So we've had a pretty long history in the scene, pretty exciting. We've been on the international DJ circuit now for some time, writing music, as you can see all over the library on the walls of the studio. Those are all of our different releases from over the years on some amazing labels. So you can click on, hear it and whatnot. But we also, this past year with COVID and with everything that happened, wanted to refocus and adjust what we've been doing and start working with brands and whatnot to get more into the sync licensing industry. So, along with writing TV for, radio, TV, movies, and whatnot, which is a little different than what we've been doing, we wanted to use our style now to get into the NFT industry. We've been pretty big fans of digital art for some time. I create some, and with our sound, which is on the hypnotic side, we thought it would be a really cool way to intertwine that with art and really help support the artwork, give it a little additional layer of originality and quality. So, we're really looking to team up with some amazing artists in the digital world and the NFT world, and connect with them. So, we can possibly work on some customizable pieces for their music, keeping it really geared, themed towards their art, and just collaborate and share some great ideas with one another. And so that's why we're here. And as you can see, we built a rooftop club, and we're going to be hosting some really cool events throughout the year, both from home, and we're also going to record some of our shows from when we're on the road, and help bring our parties to you as well, to keep you guys entertained. So if you enjoy what we do and our sound, you can find our website and whatnot in the studio portion on the monitor. We have our social media. Click on, give us a follow. We're playing some amazing shows this summer, coast to coast. So if you're in a city that we're going to be at, please hit us up. We'd love to have you as our guest. So looking forward to meeting as many people as possible and working on some really cool opportunities. And if you take a look at the wall behind our monitor as well, I created yesterday a couple pieces just to show you guys how we can theme the music towards the art and just really help make it a really cool, original, exciting piece. So thank you so much for having us here. We greatly appreciate it. We're so sorry about not being able to play live before. We had a last minute technical issue, and we're pretty bummed about it. But you'll be able to check us out on Twitch and in the studio and in the club up here, and connect with us. We'd love to meet you guys. Thank you so much.
Awesome, Corey. Once again, I want to thank them for the music. All these tracks that you see are all listed on Beatport. They're all original. You can click on each one to check them out. I'm really excited to see where this goes. Obviously, art and music go hand in hand, as everybody knows and sees, and looking forward to see where this goes. So if you guys want to follow me down to the second floor, you could just fall right through the steps. And I'm going to give the microphone over to Tomas on the second floor here. Yep, welcome.
Nice one. Thanks for having me. Let me know where you arrived. Hey, please introduce this floor of the gallery if you want.
Cool. I think a few people fell too far through the steps, so we just got to get them back up into the second floor gallery.
So up here we have all of Tomas's original series that have already been sold. We didn't really, the first gallery was pretty small, and we want to continually display his art. So obviously we expanded to make it bigger so we could continue to show his work. Also because it's all listed on Foundation. Now they have a secondary market. So it could be, other owners are looking to resell. Obviously, it's a big thing in the NFT world is, buy and buy low, sell high. So we wanted to have much more space to display all of his already sold stuff. So I'll give it over to Tomas. He can explain a little bit about himself and about his art.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Well, all these NFTs have been minted since beginning of May. And me, it's all related to my job. So there's two different types of NFT. There's like what I call static NFT, which are just image of some artwork or some research work that I've been doing. And then on the other side of the gallery, you have some animated NFT that you can
think I lost you, Tomas. He just told me his computer crashed. This is the day of technical issues. So I'll just take over till he resets. So as he was saying, he has two types of NFTs. There are the static images, and then there are the animated. And what's special about all the animated pieces is they actually represent physical artwork in the form of stainless steel laser cut sculptures. So the owner of the NFT, once they buy it, they have the option to redeem for the physical sculpture. They can either execute that option or they can leave the sculpture saved at his studio in storage and then possibly sell it to somebody else. And that person will be able to then redeem. Each of the items, if you look at on Foundation, we have a link to a website we created that gives the physical art status. This way you know whether or not it has already been redeemed if you're a prospective buyer. And basically, yeah, I love them. They're really, really beautiful, three-dimensional. All of them are architectural, inspirations, and I think they're pretty wild. Tomas,
Hi,
you
Daniel,
back?
I'm back.
All right,
Yeah,
welcome
I'm
back.
Sorry for that. Okay, so I was just explaining about the difference about the different type of NFTs I've been doing. So they all relate to my artwork research that I've been making about how humans are linked to architecture and how everyone is experiencing his environment, but more specifically city environment. So when I found that I wanted to do NFT and develop things this way, I decided to also combine the NFT works, especially the animated one, with my physical artwork. So these are made of stainless steel, and these are sculptures. So I wanted to make like animated version of the sculpture so that people can experience the object in a different way and also own the object and the NFT in the same time. So it was for me a way to also bring some physical artwork collectors to this digital artwork scene that I was starting to experience.
Yep, very cool. That's one of the major things we're looking to do. Is Tomas has been an artist for many, many years, and we want to bring a lot of his physical collectors into the NFT space because obviously the more we can bridge the gap between the physical art collectors into the digital art collectors, the better off everybody is. And I think it's doing pretty well. I know one or two of his pieces have sold to some of his pre-existing collectors, and we're really excited about that. So if you guys want to follow me down to the main floor, we'll show you his animated studio that Ogre built for us. And you can see him at work. The Crypto Voxel, CryptoPunk version of Tomas working on a piece over here.
With my light and everything.
Yeah, he's got his light. He's got his studio set up.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the other side are the new NFTs that have recently been released on Foundation.
Yeah, especially so those one that you can see, the circle one called Limitless Reflection and the other one called Structured Void. More exploration as we've been developing the first animated NFT. I thought we were like still pretty simple, and now more and more we managed to develop new techniques and new way of presenting the artworks. And also those one are some artworks that are physical artworks are way more bigger. For example, the Structured Void is an artwork that is 1.50 on 1.50. So I believe it gives us more possibilities to develop and making a lot more details and make a way better experience for the person who will look at it and also for the NFT representation.
And just for all you United States folks, the Structured Voids is actually just under 5 feet by 5 feet on the physical.
Yeah.
So it's
Thank you, Daniel.
Gigantic piece.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really happy to show off the gallery, show off the art and the music, and happy to host the WIP. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting, and happy to share my art with everyone.
Awesome. Yeah, I love this kind of early tour within the WIP. It's really a good reason to kind of hop in world and kind of stretch your avatar limbs. But I think there may be like a question or two from the audience, so I'll pass the mic to my dude Rizzle, or not Rizzle, the show. How can I call you Rizzle Show? Sorry about that. Who's been fielding questions and may have a few questions of his own for you.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Good.
So we have a question from Easy in Crypto. He would like to know, are there any addition pieces on the horizon from Tomas on any platforms? He loves the sculptures and the digi-physical, but the price point is higher on those generally.
Okay. Actually, I'm thinking about launching a physical edition of some sculptures. It may be a set of 10 or 15, and we are actually thinking about how to link that to NFT and make it very special. Another thing we've been discussing with Daniel about some like hand-embellished lithograph that I've just been launching could be also an option to make NFT release linked to this hand-embellished lithograph. So yeah, there is a few things on the way.
Cool. We also have a question from Metageist. Metageist would like to know, actually, he loves the digi-physicals, and he would like to know if he can see photos of the physical art somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So these two are actually still in fabrication. So the actual physicals aren't on there for Limitless Reflections and Structured Voids, but on all the other ones, if you go to the foundation link for the NFT, in the description at the very bottom, each artwork has its own link that has information about the physical. It has pictures of the physicals, and it has the redemption information as far as whether or not the physical has already been redeemed, whether or not it's still available, and also redemption instructions on, if you're the purchaser, how to redeem it, because we have a mechanic for that as well. But I believe the pictures should be available for these two pretty shortly, right, Tomas?
Yeah, I guess the metal fabrication just started yesterday, and then there will be the silver plating that takes a bit of time, but maybe like, let's say 15 days, I would say 15 days, 3 weeks, something like this.
Yep. And we update the website so all the pictures are on there. Right now, if you go onto the Foundation app for each one, for these two particular ones, the pictures aren't there, but all the other ones do have the physical pictures, so you could see the resemblance of what it looks like compared to the NFT. And it's pretty close, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and the thing is that as this artwork, this one are even bigger, it takes a longer time, but there is also a few other artwork that will make NFTs in the future that are in the same set of production at the moment. So you can wait a bit, but everything will be soon here. Any other question?
Cool. And if anyone else has any more questions, feel free to tag Tomas or Arts of Fly in the Discord. But I just want to thank Daniel for putting this together, Tomas for speaking, and then of course Wild Dark Music as well for having that intro early on.
Thank you so much for inviting. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to host. And, again, just adding to what Kai said earlier, I love the metaverse. I've been a huge advocate of it, going even way back before NFTs with Second Life. And when we first decided to get into the NFT space, that was my first thing was, okay, we need to establish a metaverse presence, because this is, in my opinion, the future. Obviously, with everybody into video games, everybody into all the virtual stuff and NFTs, it's only so much that it's just going to sit on the screen before it jumps off and people want to really be their avatars. And I'm excited to see where this goes.
Same here, preaching to the choir, the right choir. So everyone that's in CryptoVoxels, I guess you can fly back up to the roof if you want. You can check out the galleries. We're listening to the next speaker, who is
We need a
Spherical
teleporter
Art.
also, so you could hit the teleport to the second floor and then fly right up through the ceiling.
Oh yeah. Cool. Well, Spherical Art already made his way up to the roof. So Paul, whenever you're ready, man, unmute yourself and take it away. Tell us what you're cooking up.
Can you hear me okay? You guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Great. Hey, thanks, Matthew. Thanks, Rizzle, for having me back again so soon. A lot's been happening. First, I have to say, Tomas, I really like your art. I'm really partial to those cerulean blue pieces. Blue, that's my color, and especially the cerulean circles. That I love the way that perspective on there really looks like it's going in. It's amazing. So thanks for showing us that. I've been doing a show for the past month called Discovering NFT Artists, and I'm doing it on the Token Smart server. I've done 4 of them so far on Mondays from 3 to 4 Eastern, noon Pacific. My format is no guests and no advance notice to anybody, especially the artists that I'm going to be featuring. So that way it's easy to talk freely about what I like, what I don't like, and people can make comments. It'll be funny when they eventually show up in the audience and they end up getting spoken about. That'll be interesting. But the very first show I did, I was really prepared for it. I had all my web browser tabs open and to share my screen. I was going to do live stream sharing. And then 5 minutes before showtime, Discord would not allow me to share. All my screen options were blacked out and I was panicking. But then I decided to just drop JPEGs into the chat stream and in order to continue. And that worked out so well. And I prefer that so much that's how I do every show now. We do it all in the chat stream. That way I get to see what people are saying. It's more conversational and they can click on the stuff that I drop and they can enlarge it to, even if it's a video, they can play it. So, and then it's there as a record if they want to scroll back up. So that's the way we do the show. I wanted to give you a little example of some of the artists that we featured in this past month. And I'm going to drop some images into the screen as I talk about them. The first one was Sarper Baran. Sarper Baran. He's a Turkish 3D artist. He has these wet street scenes like this one I posted here. It's not really wet, but it's a street scene filled with neon signs. Sometimes he puts fast cars in them. He also does these images where he has these godlike figures who are juggling spheres. And I'm attracted to that whenever I see somebody's got spheres. That gets my attention. He puts so much attention to the detail. If you could enlarge those and check them out, or just look at his, he's on Super Rare Foundation and a couple other places. It's just amazing to me. He's brand new in this space. A lot of people are brand new in this space. He just got in January. A lot of the artists that I talk about are brand new to the space, like Lisa Fogarty. Lisa Fogarty is a fast-rising Swedish artist who paints sensuous female figures on old magazine pages from the 40s and 50s, feminist magazines. She's really talented. She has an attitude. She describes herself as 4.4% famous. It started out like 1.1%, and I told her, why don't you increase a little bit each day? And she does. So she's up to 4.4%. And also her prices are increasing, but she's started out super affordable. And so understandably, her work is being snapped up. Ease in Crypto even bought one of her pieces while listening to my podcast. So I was excited about that. I'm always excited when other NFT artists start making money. I think that's what we're here for. One of the reasons we're here for, and I like to see more people making money. Another great, I don't just limit it to brand new artists. You know, I like John Park. He was somebody that I featured recently. Check out this. He's a concept artist. If you don't know what a concept artist is, they imagine or visualize what the movies are going to look like. So they're probably the most important guy in the movie production thing. It's out of their brain that comes the scenes that you see in movies like Avatar or The Lone Ranger or The Mandalorian. He worked on all those, and now he's just getting into NFTs. He's got a series of monks. I've just pictured there one of them. He's a Bitcoin monk, and they hold these look like spears, but they actually have a big round Bitcoin on the end of them. Pretty interesting. Then there's people that I've met in Scent. That's where I met Matthew, and Rizzle was over in Scent. And so some artists that I met there, one of them is Paola Castillo. She is just fantastic. Check out this. I'm going to drop a picture here of hers. This was probably her most expensive piece recently that sold. Yeah, she works in vector-based art, which is like Illustrator, and it's flat colors, right? But she's able to pack so much emotion, so much self-revelation. She reveals a lot about herself in her autobiographical portraits. So, and I've collaborated with her too, but I'm not going to talk about that. I want to talk about her. So yeah, be sure to check her out. What I'm going to do at the end of it, or before I finish here, is I'm going to drop a Linktree link, so you can click on that and see all the artists, a list of artists and their links that I've covered so far in my podcast. I try to include affordable newcomers as well as pricey legends, because there's something to learn from each artist's journey and from their work. As long as I think their work is good and it interests me, then I want to show it to you. For example, one of the quirkiest artists that I showed this month was Marco Alma. He's Sicilian. He's a dancer and an artist. He's one of the first ever dance NFT creators in the space. He did a series on OpenSea called Looping Moves, where he's dancing in the camera, and he makes an MP4 out of it. And they can still be had for under $50. And then there's Micah Dalback, AKA Mad Dog Jones. He's a legend now. His gamified and innovative piece called Replicator continues to print more NFTs after it was sold at auction. And it sold at auction for just over $4 million. So here's a picture of that piece. I'm sure Matthew knows all about him because he did it all on Nifty Gateway. So yeah, super interesting background and super interesting path to where he is now. And we try to cover that. I do some investigation into their artist backgrounds. I try to find out who their art influences are, their price history, because I know collectors are listening to the show. I drop links to the various platforms where they sell their NFTs. I look around the web to see if they do tutorials or reveal their art processes. Guys who work in the business, like John Park in the movie business, they have tutorials. They teach. They have to teach because they're the best, and there's only a few of them, and they have to replace themselves eventually. The movies need talent like that. So yeah. What else? Oh. We go into the pricing and sales action of the artwork. Like I like to look, if I see a piece that interests me, I always look down to see, okay, who bought it? What did they pay for it? Was there a bidding war? And we go over that kind of stuff on the show. For example, there's the art of Pascal Blanchet. Pascal Blanchet is a Montreal French Canadian, and he's a sci-fi fantasy artist. In the style of, say, a legend like Frank Frazetta. And you could get his work for $1,000 to $2,000 back in January when he first started dropping on Super Rare and Maker's Place. Now he has a collector who regularly swoops in on an existing bidding war and then doubles the last bid. And after he makes the purchase, which he usually gets, he transfers it a week later to Anonymous. That's fascinating to me. I want to know more about that. I want to know who's Anonymous and who is this guy who doubles the last bid. That's really interesting. So one of Pascal's recent sci-fi fantasy illustrations sold for $73,000. That's his high price so far, and he's just been in a few months. So I think his art transcends the category it's in. It transcends, sci-fi, fantasy art. It's high art. It's fine art. And looking back a year from now, 73,000 is going to be cheap, I think, for him. Let me drop you a picture of his work. I think you should see it. He works with incredible colors. Look at these colors. This guy landed in that orb and he crash landed, and now he's walking out of it. He's wearing the hatch on his head like a hat. That's incredible. I love these colors. So I hope, so let me post the link here to the, I'm going to post the link to the artists that we've covered so far, so you can get a feel for what we do on the show. All right. There we go. And then, I would like to, I'd like for you to save a spot on your calendars Monday at 3 p.m. To come and check out my show on TokenSmart. So that would be cool. Now, for the second part of my little talk here, I have to tell you about a collaborative project that I've been working on for the past 2-3 months with an incredible musician. His name is Robert Monroe. He's new to this scene, I think, just this year, and you're going to hear a lot more about him because, in my opinion, he's the most talented musician or talented person, period, that I've met in this space. Where do I begin? I saw his first musical pieces on OpenSea. And what he did is he would write music, compose a piece on the piano, and then he'd play it, and he'd have the sheet music sort of dancing around. And I thought to myself, he's got to have something better than that as the visual. I mean, yeah, okay, he's got sheet music, but come on, let's team up with an artist. So immediately, the same day I saw his stuff, I said, I got to write to him. I wrote to him, found out his Twitter address. I wrote to him, I said, hey, would you be open to collaborating with me? And he said yes, and we started working on pieces. I sent him still pictures of stuff that I do. He looked at it, composed a brand new melody, like he does on the piano, and then he sent that to me, and I tried my best to animate something that would do it justice, to support it, to frame it, to hold it, to encourage people to stick with it and listen to it, because the pieces are sometimes long. Sometimes they're like 2 minutes long. And I just really believe in his talent. So, he has this ability, like, remember the movie Amadeus? And Salieri was the old master, but he wasn't talented like Amadeus Mozart. And he thought, oh God, if I only could have that talent. Where does he get that talent? It's some divine gift that he has. He's inspired by God. I wish I had that. And he tried to destroy Amadeus. I don't want to destroy Robert, but I think he has a gift. He has a second language, let's say the keyboard is his language, and he doesn't use any sound effects. He doesn't use any, beat automatic electronic stuff. What he does for a living, you won't believe. He's a member of the rock group called Journeyman. They're a tribute band for Eric Clapton, and he tours nationally. And he plays, Clapton rock. He plays Jimi Hendrix. He plays a lot of. And when you see him on YouTube, he's rocking out just like a rocker. But when he's at home, he likes to write classical music. And so the type of music that he does is classical. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but once you listen to it, you'll know how big and vast his vocabulary is, his musical vocabulary. And he can make, it's not all sweet melodies, that's for sure. Sometimes it's really jarring chords, combinations, a flurry of notes that bang into each other. It's just incredible to me. So I'm going to post some links here, if I can find them, to our 3 pieces. Now, we had these 3 pieces done like 2 months ago, and we sat on them because we thought we can't just post these. These are too good. We have to hold on to these so we can get a drop party. So when I found out that I was going to get to speak at the WIP today, I thought, damn, this is going to be our drop party. So here's our drop party. here's our 3 pieces. You can go check them out on Maker's Place. That's where we dropped them. And not only am I going to give you the links to the pieces, I'm going to I made smaller versions that I could upload right here. So you can actually just stay right here and watch it. Now it's going to take a little bit of time. Fortunately, I bought Nitro, so I can upload up to 100 megs. This one is 48 megs, and it's almost there. And I'll keep talking while it's uploading. Hey, did I show one of Lisa Fogarty's pieces? Did I drop that in here? I'm scrolling back up. Yes, I did. Okay, just want to make sure that she got covered. Yeah, so this first piece that I'm going to show you is called Breathing, and it's under a minute long. You can check it out as you like, and I'm going to, as soon as that finishes uploading, I'm going to upload the second and third ones. And I've tried my best not to get in the way of his music, to do visuals that you could appreciate the music while watching the visual and not have them fight each other, or have one trying to jump ahead and get all the attention. So he's here, by the way. He's probably embarrassed that I've given him this big of an intro, and I'm going to have him speak to you right now while I upload some more of our stuff. So hey, Robert, you want to jump in? And Dragonate, can you activate his mic, and I'll silence my own.
Hey, can you guys hear me? All right, I think it's working. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much to Spherical Art for that introduction. And yes, a little embarrassed, a little red cheeks over here, but I really appreciate it. Basically, yeah, I hopped into this scene maybe around March. Basically, I had gotten a little bit into crypto back in October with my brother, and then I ended up finding NFTs, and then I immediately had the realization that was kind of what was missing in my professional life, because like he was saying, professionally I work primarily in rock and roll and pop, because that's where the money is in live performance. And so that's what my world was. And then of course the pandemic happened, and there was nothing to do in terms of performance. And so that was actually ended up being good, because then I had the time to look at other things. And that's when I really started diving into NFTs. And what was amazing about the space right away is this real appreciation to having a deeper connection with the artist, and basically having this ability to have a little bit more time and a little bit more experience, which is very necessary in art music and in classical. And I had written a lot of classical when I was younger, but the problem always was finding an audience for it. And so I just started trying to post a few different things here and there. My very, very first piece that I posted literally was just the sheet music with me performing it behind it. And then as I got into it, I was trying to add some more visuals. And then I was very happy when Spherical Art approached me, because he's absolutely right. Like, I still, for fun on my own stuff, add my own visuals, and I kind of try to limit myself with doing sheet music as a focus. But I loved the fact that we were able to collaborate and, like he was talking about, basically have a visual that the visual and the audio are working together, not one to serve the other, but both together. So that's basically the kind of the focus. Now, I'll get in a little bit into my process, and that is basically I try to have a very stream of consciousness flow in terms of what's going on with the visual, or if I'm trying to create something from myself, I come up with a title generally very quickly. I don't think about it a lot. And then after that point, then I really dive into what I'm playing, and I've listened to quite a bit of Scriabin and Prokofiev. Prokofiev's one of my favorites. And then, you know, of course, a lot of modern music, but basically my focus is to create something that's very dense, that you're able to just sort of listen to and appreciate on the simple melody level, but also if you listen to it over and over again, it just grows on you as you continue listening to it. So that's sort of what I'm going for all the time. And yeah, I've been really enjoying my time here. It's been great to make these pieces with Spherical Art. I love what he does visually. Did he get the third piece up? Yeah, all of them are really enjoy our collaboration. The third one, especially, I think works very well. Yeah, with the music in terms of exploration. I think the first two are kind of more of a sitting and sort of experiencing this emotional space, and then the third one to me felt like a little bit more of a journey. So anyway, I will turn it back over to Spherical Art, and thank you so much for being so kind and let me talk for a little bit. And I'll drop my Twitter, and you guys can connect with me there. And yeah, thanks so much.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much for jumping in and speaking, Robert. It's great. You know, he's also on Hit at Nug, and what he does over there is he does these improvisational pieces that last a couple of minutes, and there's no editing. They're totally unedited pieces, and they're beautiful. It's like somebody sat down and wrote that, studied it, edited it, but it just flows right out of him. I don't understand how he does it, but I'm glad he does it. So, hey, that's it for me for today. I really appreciate it. Rizzle or Matthew, you guys want to take the mic for me?
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Paul. And thank you so much, Robert, for hopping on the mic too and uncovering a little bit of what you do. If anyone has any questions for Robert or Spherical Art, make sure you just tag them in the channel and ask your questions. They're open books and they're great people. So thank you again, both of you.
Great. Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, and then next up we have Paradox, who's going to jump on the stage for something that I'm super stoked to hear about. And Paradox, whenever you're ready, just unmic yourself, and then afterwards you can probably corral us for a nice little group picture too.
Oh yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, brother.
Hello. Lovely. Hello, people of the WIP. So you know I'm here every week. But it's been a long time since I've been on the virtual stage. However, so as you know, you guys from the WIP, we know you love alpha leaks. I've got one that I hope you'll like. But first, some of you probably have absolutely no idea who I am, which is fair enough, to be honest. So who am I? So in the metaverse, I'm known as Paradox, but in the real world, I'm called Sam. That's not actually something I've told many people in the metaverse, so hey, I'm Sam. It's a good start. So I've been playing around with crypto since around 2016, 2017, but I jumped into the crypto art scene around January 2020, something like that, and I made some video art and it sold, which was pretty cool, but that's actually not what I've been doing ever since. So my background in the real world is television and film, so lots of playing with cameras, organizing shoots, all that kind of fun stuff. So since diving into the metaverse, I found myself kind of naturally documenting it with video. I've probably shot more metaverse video content than anyone I can think of. Maybe if I'm wrong, I'd love to meet that person. So yeah. So some of you here will know that one of the ways I've been documenting the metaverse is by joining the WIP crew as the videographer. So I'm the guy that's constantly flying around in circles around people. I'm the guy with the giant camera on my head. Let's have a look. Reading my notes. So, meet the person. So, you guys at the WIP are 100% my metaverse clan, and I really wouldn't trade you for the world. So it's great to be here talking on the WIP with you guys. So because you don't actually get to hear my voice very often, apart from a kind of a rushed photo at the end. So let's get down to it. So back in December, I was somehow lucky enough to land a video gig for a cool metaverse project event I suspect you may have heard of called B20. I did all the video content for that project, and I was pretty proud of it. Now, if you don't know, the B20 event was organized by a company called Metaverse. And a few months ago, Metaverse announced that they were opening applications for a fellowship program. So to cut a long story short, I went through all of the pitching process for that and was awarded a fellowship. Now, this has been a big deal for me because it's meant I've been able to quit my job, my real world job, which I didn't hate, but it's a real world job and I didn't love it. And now I work full time in the metaverse. I've been doing that for about 6 weeks now, and it's the best feeling in the world. Which brings us to this announcement that I've been teasing you with. So bear in mind that this is kind of an alpha leak. Details of where you can watch this thing is still being confirmed, but it is coming soon. So I've been working on a new video interview show where we explore not just what is the metaverse, but who is the metaverse. There are so many truly talented and crazy smart people in this scene, be they artists, platform creators, innovators, builders, the list goes on. There are so many interesting people to interview and to get their stories. Now, I could have conducted these interviews myself, but I'm a producer and a cameraman, and I much prefer hiding behind spreadsheets and cameras and editing software. So what did I do? I brought in some talent, of course. I've teamed up with someone with a wealth more knowledge in the scene than I have. This someone is an incredible VR artist and a long-time guest at the WIP. Can you guess who it is, anybody? It is none other than Mr. Metageist, who is here in front of me in Crypto Voxels. So, what makes this show a little different from straight-up interviews is that we are separating the show into 2 shooting formats. The first is an online worldwide interviews. We'll be speaking to all these amazing metaverse citizens via video call, but we're also going to be diving down the rabbit hole to explore and showcase all of the various virtual worlds with the interviewees as our guides. I know I'm going to enjoy these metaverse romps because I get to follow Metageist and the interviewee with my virtual camera, which is what I do best, I think anyway. So that is the first shooting format, and the second, and I find this hilarious that it's still relatively novel in the metaverse. Is real-world live-action interviews. Metageist and I will be traveling all around the United Kingdom to invade homes, artist studios, office spaces, etc. of metaverse citizens, actually getting to talk in person, as Metageist says, with their real-life meat sacks. And hopefully, COVID travel allowing, we're going to try and get to NFT NYC and the Token Smart convention in Vegas next year. So if any of you are there, do not think you're going to escape us. We'll see your real faces. Now, are you ready for the show title? So I think Metageist is going to drop a logo into the chat. So eyes on the chat, please. Go for it, Metageist, when you're ready. There we go. So for those of you who haven't got eyes on the chat, the show is going to be called Metanauts. So now the final thing I want to talk about for Metanauts is that we're going to be including questions, a segment which is questions from the audience in each episode. I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek as to who we'll be speaking to first. In our list is Cody, the artist Cody, our very own Matthew from the WIP, Trevor Jones, Violet Jones, and then Mark Omatic. And I've just been speaking to Rizzo, and he says he's in too. So that's not a bad little lineup to be getting on with. So we would absolutely love to include some of the WIP attendees' questions in these first segments for these first interviews. So if you have any burning questions for Coldy, Matt, Trevor Violet, Marco Matic, or Mr. Rizzle, we have a Google form that you can fill in, and Metageist is going to drop that form. Now, and yeah, as Metageist says, we're driving up to Scotland to Trevor's house in the real world. So I think, unless Metageist wants to correct me, that's pretty much everything for the Alpha Leak announcement for Metanauts. Metanauts. I'm going to get back to flying around and filming. Cheers, guys. Back to you guys.
Someone over here. Thank you so much.
Back
Paradox.
to you, man. Lead us, sir.
Yeah. Picture time, man.
Let's
Picture time, man.
But I guess
you're not off the hook that easily.
Yeah. I guess real quick, before the picture time, we can get this out of the way. Just wanted to promote Crypto Art Week Asia. George is sleeping soundly at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. in Singapore right now, but Crypto Art Week Asia is happening July 9th to the 17th. That's starting tomorrow. There's going to be a bunch of in real life exhibitions across Asia. There's going to be 50 virtual galleries, largely in CryptoVoxels. 300 artists are being featured. Thank you so much for dropping the links right there, Easy. Folks, just follow them on Twitter, check out their website for more details. It's a really amazing event, and there's going to be a lot of artists you're hearing and seeing for the first time. So if you want to scoop some new artists that you haven't heard about, that not a lot of other people have heard, check out Crypto Art Week Asia. Chill out. Paradox, back to you.
Cool, guys. Right, I'm floating above the parcel. If everybody looks up, if you're in Crypto Voxels, you will see a blue guy with a giant camera on his head. So if everybody can jump in front of the banner, let's get this picture rodeo in motion. Is that a saying? Right, I'm going to give you about 5 more seconds to get in place, and then we're going to start taking pictures and video. Right, throw up some emojis, please, and then we should be good. Amazing. Right, lovely, guys. Thank you very much. Paradox out.
Cool. Well, before we hand the mic to Show for the Afties to bring us out and heading to summer vacation, Rizzle, do you have any last minute shout outs or shills or anything like that?
I think that's about it. Awesome as always to hang out with everybody. Big shout out to the fam for making it all happen. Don't go too far next week. There will be a dope event going on all day in this time slot while we take a break. And then we'll be back in action with a fire lineup a couple weeks from now. And that season of the whip dog goat cheese will go on until we decide that it, will not go on anymore, or we need a break, or Matt has another baby or something. Yes, Easy, lots of jazz this weekend. Huge shout out to Easy, man, making the trek down to Metajax, and am stoked to see what they got cooking up over there. I'm going to be in the mix on Sunday, and we'll try and do some lurking throughout the weekend. And I think that's about it. Stoked to be involved in Paradox's project, man. Anything the WIP crew is churning out, it's fun to be involved with. So I think that's it, y'all. Check out the events calendar. I believe there's Cypher is the next thing coming up after this within Token Smart. There's a billion things going on constantly, so make sure you keep up. And check out Spherical Arts Show Mondays. And Show, dude, if you're ready, man, grab the mic.
That was awesome. I'm just sitting here soaking up all the information. Soaking up all the information while I'm sweating is like the opposite. I should be soaking up all the sweat. It's hot. Hey, y'all. When I speak in this voice, it's your cue. Turn down your headphones, turn down your speakers, turn up your air conditioners, or not, depending. Get some white noise. Just turn all the things down, cause I'm about to turn this shit the fuck up. All right. if you're brand new to the WIP, if this is your first WIP, even though it's the season was season 4, season 5B, season 5A finale. Please turn your things down. All right. Oh yeah. Wait, can you hear me? Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah, man, loud and clear.
Okay, no, I was just going off of what Dragonate says. Dragonate is just damn it, Dragonate. All right, y'all. Oh yeah. Speaking of hearing, speaking of being hard of hearing, you WIP fam motherfuckers, you are hard of hearing. You haven't been listening. You've been saying thank you in the channel every time there's a drop instead of listening to our awesome presenters. I see you. I've been watching. Damn it, Guts Berserk has been overworking himself trying to tell you all to shut up. Stop saying thank you when there's a drop, god damn it. Pay attention. Pay attention. God damn it. I can't take it. Oh, yeah. Yo, oh my God, I can't believe it. What season is it? I don't even know. We've had so many seasons. Oh, I think it's season 5B. No, season 5A. We're going into season 5B, y'all. It is summer break. It's summer fling. It's not spring fling. I'm trying to skinny dip. With all the WIP fam. Oh, yeah. Wait, what did Rizzle say? Season 5B, Turtle? That's where we're going in. Mark Brendar says season 3, Monterey Jack. Yo, check this out. Before we close this season out, I'm going to sing a song, right? This was a famous song in the early 90s. You know, it's a little jingle, right? Well, actually, these are the only lyrics that I know from it, but I'm pretty sure you've heard it. We're men in tights. Tights. We're men in tights. Y'all, are we men in tights? Yes or no? Are we men in tights? Yes and no. Where are the women, Carolina? Where are the women in tights, goddammit? Are we non-gender specific in tights? That's what I want to know. Right. There's a reason why I'm saying this. Right? My pants are not tight right now, and that's a problem. I'm not pitching a tent. I'm not in the woods with a Woody right now. There is nothing merry about the men or women involved. The original Robin Hood, known for stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, was obviously for the people, utilizing clever tactics in order to hoodwink the affable and affluent out of their coffers and airdrop coins in hidden communities across the forest that they called their world. The Robin Hood we know and some love is very different. Robin Hood, a centralized fintech app that gives people extremely easy access to economics and the stock market, has been adopted by everybody to the point where regardless of educational level, right, teenagers can use it with no friction. Anyone can use it. Anyone who is not affable and affluent can cough up some ducats and coins in the hopes of living a life that is happy and merry. But when Robin Hood takes your money, I'm talking about all you WIP fam, when Robin Hood takes your money, if you have the app on your phone, and then suddenly halts trades and transactions after keeping your money, right? First, they take your money, then say, hey, you can't do shit with it, so you can't become rich. That is stealing from the poor. Because of them doing that, when teenagers supported GameStop, AMC, Blockbuster, and Doge, Robin Hood's pants got tight. Too tight. They felt a squeeze in all the wrong areas of their pants. They were wearing a size 20 when they're supposed to be wearing a size 42 waist. They were chafing and tried to run away because they were finally caught by the sheriff of Nottingham in the form of the New York State regulators who are forcing Robinhood to pay a fine of $15 million in fiat in charges of negligence in cybersecurity and anti-money laundering, and for basically stealing from the poor to give to themselves. You can't shut shit down just because motherfuckers are about to make money together, right? Because of crypto. This happening at the same time as Robinhood deciding to go full IPO. This is the whole reason why I'm even talking about this right now. They're going full IPO in response to them being sued and declaring that they have over $1 billion in revenue because of their Dogecoin holdings. Chiefly due to their holdings in Doge and nothing else. Not because you're trading on it, right? It's a centralized fintech app. And they're making money because they got into crypto and they have you interacting with money in their own fucking wallets, but it's not your wallet, it's their wallet. It's the people's coin. They're stealing from the people to make themselves rich. Is that what you want? Is in DeFi Summer 2.0, is that what you want? WIP fam, is that what you want? Welcome to the Afties, y'all. That was the intro to that long-winded speech from a crazy motherfucker who likes to hear himself speak, right? This is the intro to the Afties, y'all, where basically we had awesome presenters present great things during the WIP, the presentation portion of the WIP. This is your time to offer an opinion or a hot take on what you just heard, because I know you're full of opinions. You're in the crypto space. You're talking. You're yelling. Spit is flying everywhere. You're trying to talk to everybody, but no one understands it. We understand you here. I understand. If anybody understands how crazy you are, if anybody understands why you keep FOMOing into ERC, what is it? They're not even ERC 721s anymore. You keep FOMOing into ERC 1155s. What is the token now on OpenSea if you mint a fucking 10,000 avatar NFTs? If anyone understands this, it's me. So talk about it here. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Speaking of first subject, we had Daniel from ArtSoFly. We also had Tomas with his release of an awesome digiphysical. I had a slew of questions, but I loved yours better, right? I was curious though. I wanted to ask Daniel this, right? And then I will provide my hot take. I want to ask Daniel, I was like, hey man, having galleries in both CV and Somnium space, you obviously are deeply entrenched in the metaverse, and you're in New York City. So I'm assuming that you know the current state of physical galleries and the collectives associated with them here, right? I wanted to know if he felt that the New York art scene is old, cringe, and dead, and that everybody needs to come to the metaverse in order to make their way in this generation. My hot take is that people need to leave New York City and come to the metaverse and make things happen. If you can't make it in the metaverse, you can't make it anywhere else. You didn't make it in New York City. You're failing in New York City. Come to the metaverse where you can get a second or 20th chance. Thoughts? That's my hot take. Thoughts. If you can't make it in New York City, you probably can't make it anywhere else. So just come to the metaverse and try to make it here a million times. Thoughts? Daniel, thoughts?
My thought is that we are going to be the envy of all those old, stuffy motherfuckers that are in Christie's, in Sotheby's, in the real life galleries. They're going to be looking on the wall at what's going on in the metaverse during mixed reality events, and they're going to be jumping into the screen, banging their heads against it, trying to get in here. They're going to be saying, I want to fly. I want to dress up in these cool costumes. How come I'm stuck here in my Chanel dress and my overpriced clothing? How do I get into the metaverse? And that's where we're going to be. Those are my thoughts.
Daniel, I am already the envy of all these old stuffy motherfuckers because I am sexy. God damn it. I walk down the street and they're jealous because I'm young and I'm fucking gorgeous. But aside from that, I've already been banging my head. Other people are banging their heads too. This is vaguely reminiscent of people who stand on street corners, and not now in all the cities because everybody has crazy motherfuckers that stand on the street corner and just preaches whatever. But in New York City, there's a certain flavor to it that's being provided, and I'm pretty sure Daniel can sympathize here, where they look like they just came out the psych ward and they're banging their heads against all the gates, all the walls, screaming things, talking about craziness. The great thing that you're highlighting, and I don't normally agree with people, I'm just going to say it here, and no, he's not paying me to say this, but there's value when you bang your head against the wall in the metaverse, when you're screaming and you're throwing things up and seeing with sticks. There's value here. They can't wrap their heads around the fact that there's no control, there's no handcuffs. They love handcuffs. They like to be stuffed in little boxes. They like to be stuffed like Thanksgiving turkeys because they need to feel like they are being controlled. They love the control. What happens when it comes to the metaverse when there's no control? What happens to sane people used to routines? Right? Christy Sotheby's represents a routine in the form of saying, hey, we are the elite of the elite. You need to come through these gates in order to be considered successful. What if they come to a place where there's no control? They're like, oh my God, you people aren't controlled and you're making money? And they come in, they're like, I don't understand. How do you make money without being controlled? Thoughts? How do you make money without being controlled? You mean I can be self-sovereignty? Thoughts?
I just banged my head against the wall so many times. My thoughts are pretty rattled, but I think you said it all perfectly there. This is the future. We are the future. They are the past. And, like an 80-year-old buying a Ferrari to feel like he's 20, they're going to want keys to the metaverse. And I guess that's where we're at.
Daniel, stop agreeing with me just because I've been building on your parcel for the past 5 hours straight trying to deal with collisions. It's the athletes. Don't agree. Don't agree.
I'm still waiting on that transaction on my MetaMask. I don't see that the ETH hit my account yet. So if you could, send that back over again, I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, that's cute. I don't grease any wheels. There's no pay for play out in my streets. That I don't pay anybody to do anything, but super awesome. Shout out to Art So Fly. The gallery was incredible. It's great to walk through. If you can, make sure to do that. Moving on, next subject, spherical art, man. Spherical art, Paul, man. OMG. Like I was sitting here and I was confused because I'm like, he's interviewing himself. It's like a full circle. It's a reach around. Paul was giving himself a reach around, interviewing himself to the point where I was like, dude, we're trying to ask you questions about you. How are you asking questions to yourself and then answering the questions? I think that means you're clinically psychotic, right? We were just talking about the crazy standing on the streets. Right, Matthew, right? He's interviewing himself and answering himself. I thought that you answer the questions in your head, that means you're crazy, right? Isn't that? I don't know. I failed Psychology 101. I left the class when who was it? Who's that famous psychologist who said that everything relates to you having sex with your mother? I'm like, dude, I'm done. My id is not interested in any super ego. God damn it. Thank you. Freud. Thank you, Rizzle. I guess Rizzle passed. He's a clinical psychologist, right? Speaking of Spherical Art. I wanted to ask Spherical Art all these intricate, these really deep and thought-provoking questions about crypto art because he's been an artist for all of his life for years. For years, Spherical Art has underwear older than a lot of things out here. I need to know things, all right? I was like, man, I've been watching him like a hawk lately because he's been posting all of this great work. But then I noticed something, right? And this is something that I've been noticing about a lot, and it's tying into my hot take. Just follow me here, right? I've been noticing a lot lately on Twitter that many crypto artists have been seeming frustrated or agitated, right? They've been feeling charged the fuck up. And I think this is related to something that I mentioned last week, right? And I noticed that there was a significant change in his artwork, right? In his creative approach. It seems a little bit more like fiery. It seems a little bit more like he's been like digging and cutting through, you know? And I feel like all crypto artists nowadays are they're ramping up. Maybe it's the sunshine, it's the vitamin D. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like if the summer does something, but they've been looking, right? Maybe it's because of all these low effort NFT avatar projects keep coming out and people keep FOMOing into them. All the money is flowing in that direction, not into crypto artists. I'm not going to beat a dead bush from last week, but I'm seeing a result here, and this is a trend, right? I feel like all the artists are super charged up, and I want to know what the hell is going on. Are all the artists? This is rhetorical. Are all the artists like? Do they have a fire lit under their asses now? Are all of the artists realizing that they're not making money because of these NFT art projects, right? Are all of the is anyone else seeing this? I see this. I think that the artists are saying, fuck this. They're doubling down. They're locking themselves in their rooms and they're creating things. Thoughts? Is this happening or? Go ahead.
Stop looking at Spherical Art's underwear.
Dragonate's head is always in the gutter. I don't want to know about the artists that have their heads in the gutter trying to find and dig deep for the thing that will separate them from the herd. I see this. They're all trying to do things. Thoughts? Yeah, Mark Rendor, I agree. The next crypto board baby punk monkey juice clone. All these shits. I FOMO'd into the wrong fucking NFT avatar project I can't recoup. I'm pissed. I thought one of them was gonna go, and it's like it doesn't make any sense. It's irrational. People are like, "Oh yeah, but check out this brand new one," and I'm like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" And it's selling for 0.7 ETH each, recouping, right? My hot take is that crypto artists have been feeling frustrated by this, and they have been digging. They have been deep diving into their souls. Rizzle just posted a tweet that he wrote, well, we had a punk infestation, so we got a bunch of apes. That helped. But then we had all these apes, so we unleashed a bunch of cats, and they're working on that. But the apes aren't going down easy either way. The sleeves with a whole lot of cats. There's a gluttony, right? But I'm talking about the crypto artists. I see the crypto artists are like, they're looking feisty. They're looking feisty. Thoughts? I'm sweating. I've been shedding the winter weight by yelling and screaming. Thoughts?
I think if you were to sweat on paper or on canvas and then turn that into an NFT, that would probably do really well. It would be randomly generated too, because every time you go work out, you have a different sweat pattern.
I feel the sweat. I feel the sweat coming from many artists, but I feel like this is going to do something to the ecosystem. The ecosystem is floated by this particular thing that's been happening lately. Last but not least, moving on. Last but not least, for the sake of time, Paradox. Oh my God, we got all these awesome people. We had all these awesome presenters giving us great things. Last but not least, Paradox. One of the most creative individuals in the space, hands down, to the point where here's a little tidbit. Paradox was the person who gave me my second NFT ever in the crypto space. It was from a random Twitter drop when those things were actually a thing. Nowadays, it's like, oh my God, they do it just for likes and retweets, right? He also was one of the first people to allow me to show my one of my crypto art pieces for my first series that I released last year that I created, right? During Hive Collective's gallery opening. Shout out to that. Paradox has always been kicking ass. Always kicking ass. And the fact that he collaborated with Metageist is even more inspiring. Shout out to that. Shout out to that. Here is my hot take. Paradox going full metaverse. Awesome, right? Being empowered. I love this. Self-sovereignty. Teaming up with Metageist to go around and start outing everybody who has a pseudonym in Europe and also in America is gonna make him a lot of money. Thoughts? Doxing everyone one by one. This is the most bullish fucking thing. This is the most bullish project that I've ever heard. Thoughts?
I want that to be true.
Whose voice was that? Whose voice was? There
it was
voices.
Paradox's, of course.
Paradox. Well, you're going around doxing people. You're gonna make more money. This is what you call full metaverse. This is what happens. You're gonna. What are your thoughts?
Let's see how the first few months go, shall we?
You're gonna see if you and Metageist can stay in the black instead of the red. If you can profit off of making a profit off of other people's identities.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan to me.
Dragonate, you were saying something, Dragonate.
Paradox was late, and I will never forgive him. He is my arch nemesis. Take that.
I was 40 minutes early.
How dare you, sir?
Paradox, you're not gonna make money if you're late or too early to catch the people. That's a word to if you have to dox people, right? What does para mean in Latin? Para means what, like some kind of transition, right? And obviously dox means you're gonna be doxing motherfuckers. If you're late, if the transition is too slow or too fast, you're gonna miss the docs. You're gonna be missing the money. I feel though, right, this is segueing into something else that I noticed. So I noticed that Motherboard, right, the company Motherboard, not company, excuse me, it's Vice, right? Their tech section called Motherboard just recently outed themselves by saying, no, they didn't out themselves. They outed the FBI because the FBI was shilling tampered burner phones, right? They had an app on there called Anum or Num. It's an app that's hidden inside of the generic calculator app on a phone, right? But these phones were being shilled to criminals, y'all. To fucking criminals. So they had backdoor access into all of their encrypted messages, their images, all this information. The FBI was selling shit to the criminals, trying to backdoor them so they could dox them. Holy shit. Thoughts?
I mean, that's pretty big.
They were trying to paradox them. Thoughts?
It's a big brain move of them, surprisingly. Is it them who came up with the idea?
Yeah, and they were selling it. Not only were they making money like Paradox and Metageist, right? Selling it to their consumer base. They were also making money by putting them in fucking jail and getting cushy promotions in the fucking Fed. The Feds was being the Feds, motherfucker. Thoughts? Thoughts? The FBI doing things like this lets us know. Let's us collectively know that the Fed they don't ever know what they're doing. They're always trying to know what you're doing so they can profit off of you. Not that Paradox is actually doing that. My hot take obviously is flipping on the fact that what Metageist and Paradox are doing is ingenious and it's awesome. They're not actually going around doxing people, but the FBI is really trying to dox you. That lets you know your inherent value. If the government sees a value in you and making money off of you, even when there's loose regulations, right? That's what CZ from Binance is trying to argue, right? When there's loose regulations, they can claim anything. They can throw anything up against the fucking wall, right? And make it stick. They can make these crazy connections, put it together and say, hey, I'm going to make money off of this. I'm going to say that, dude, this is a RICO case. You've been moving around fucking pencils. Pencils are illegal because the wood that you're chopping in the Amazon is illegal. It's an illegal fucking rainforest, right? You're like, what? How does this make me a criminal? Why can't I use a calculator on my phone? If I want to send some sexy pics through the calculator app, let me do that. Why does the Fed wanna look at all of my sexy DMs?
Okay,
they want to make money.
The solution then is that we have to bang their heads against the wall and make them stick. And then they won't be a problem because they'll be stuck there.
Dragonate is trying is agreeing with the Feds. The Feds are like, if I were quote unquote, if I had an OnlyFans and I was banging my quote unquote head against a quote unquote wall and making all the things stick, the Feds are trying to sell my OnlyFans. The federal government is trying to sell my OnlyFans.
I'm not agreeing with them. I'm saying we have to slam their heads against the wall and make them stick to it, so that they won't be a problem.
Mark Randar says this. It's the summer of the self-docs. I can't. It's the same thing as the crypto space, right? If someone's making money off of me and I'm not making money off of the money that I should be making for myself, then what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? You know what I'm doing? You want to know what I'm doing, y'all? You want to know what I'm doing for this summer break that we're having? I am going out. I'm taking my pants. Not just any pants. I'm taking my tights. I'm sliding my tights slowly over my legs. Yeah. I'm sticking my chest out. I'm taking a big, deep breath, and I'm singing, "We're men. We're men in tights, tights, tights. We're men in fucking tights." Thanks, y'all. Thank you for coming through to season, 5A of the WIP. Season 5A of the WIP. Season 5B will be coming in like 2 weeks. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming through. Much love. Shout out to the WIP crew. You know this. Shout out to Paradox and the WIP crew. Shout out to Dragonade as well. Shout out to the entire fam. I don't speak for all of them. They speak for themselves, but I love each and every single one of them. Shout out to the Token Smart leadership team, all the moderators. Shout out to all you. Shout out to the WIP, to all of the other WIP fam that come day in and day out and support every single event. Thanks to every single one of you. We have awesome events coming up later on today. Please check out the weekly calendar. Do all the things. Listen to the Depth of fucking Audio Problem song. Right, shout out to Mark Rendar and the Cheddar. That's all I keep hearing in that song. But shout out to every single one of you. Much love. We will see you in 2 weeks or some shit. 2 weeks, come back, but come here next week too. There's awesome things. Much love. Peace.